Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
I assume Tom.
From super fan to super entrepreneur, today I get to talk to the founder of B1's Performance Patch, Jerry Castello. How are you today?
I'm great. I appreciate you having me. It's good to speak with you.
Listen, man, this is a lot of fun. I do got to ask real quick, because I've been on the website and the patches come in different colors. Are they like different dosages of various vitamins? Like Mike needs more B1, so he gets the blue patch. Stacy needs more B12, so she gets the red patch, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I'll tell you what the issue is. Stacy needs a pink patch because she just bought a pink outfit from Nike and doesn't want to wear a patch that clashes. So we actually changed all the colors for the women. That is a true story, by the way. That is a true story because, you know, we actually benefit when people wear our patches visibly and publicly. And as we would go out to different events, people would say, you know, I love your patch, but it comes in that blue. And sometimes blue just doesn't go with my outfit. And I was like, well, what do you need? And, you know, and also we've done a lot of charitable work. So, you know, whether it be the pink or the orange and then the black and the brown, and then we have a rainbow patch, you know, which is very inclusive. And that's a part of our company for 10 years now. That's not just something that we decided, hey, it's a good thing to do trend wise. It's always been a part of who we are. So it's just very cool because people do have a favorite color. I mean, people do have a favorite color. But as far as the dosage, the dosages are the same. The only formulation that is slightly different is the mosquito patch, which has a little bit of eucalyptus with the thiamine to ward off the mosquitoes. But other than that, the patches are the same, yeah.
I'm going to have to get that one because mosquitoes love me.
Yeah, well, this has been getting worse and worse. It's funny. I don't know what they're doing with mosquitoes. I remember the Seinfeld episode where George was like, what are we doing with these pigeons? Don't we have a deal with them? Aren't they supposed to move? And this is the same with mosquitoes. I've never seen it so bad, but I guess good for us that we make a patch that we have the Marines using our patches. So they work. If they're good enough for the Marines, it should be good enough for civilians, you know?
I dig it. Now, Jerry, you're in the car because you're on your way to another press conference, because you got some big promotional stuff happening. Fill us in on that. Yeah,
so I'll even give you a little bit of insight into like why our company is a little special than just a regular patch company. So if you can see that, that's actually the logo of the Southland Conference, and we just became the official partner of the Southland Conference. As a matter of fact, we just became the official partner of 78 Division I schools, and there's only 318 of them. So 25% of the Division I athletic universities in the United States are with B1 right now. But the fun thing is that for fans, alumni, students, we put their logo, their slogan, imagine the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Leprechaun on a patch. So it's not only that you get this physiological benefit, all natural, proud to say 100% made here in the United States, but we can make it fun for you. You know, and as we continue to expand our licensing, you know, if you're going out, you know, have two martini glasses clicking as a logo, whatever it is. We've done weddings and events where people actually buy patches for, you know, their parents' 25th wedding anniversary, and we have the names, you know, congratulations, Marge and Bill or something like that, whatever it is. Look at me with Marge. I don't even know if there is a Marge anymore. I just remember The Simpsons. You know, but some of those names that I grew up with, you know, they don't fly anymore.
So I got to ask, how did this little Sicilian kid up from the East Coast end up sitting there with 78 D1 teams under his belt?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, I always tell people I'm a mixture, and I'm going to pull a name out that maybe some of the fans don't know, but you should Google him. I'm a mixture of Tony Soprano and Lee Iacocca. So Lee Iacocca was
sorry. Lee Iacocca saved Chevy and Chrysler.
And Chrysler. So Lee Iacocca was a small Italian genius of a businessman who actually was so respected for his business acumen that even while he was CEO, he would be paid $1 million to go lecture somewhere else about how to run a business. And not that I am taking people in an alleyway and making them offers they can't refuse, but I'm a big burly guy. I am a Sicilian from Brooklyn. I come off as gruff, but of course I'm not. I just, we're a type of, I don't know if we could say, but let's just say we kind of kick butt and take names. And when you're up against Goliaths like Gatorade, that's Pepsi. Powerade, that's Coca-Cola. If you don't walk in there confidently ready for a battle, you're never going to make headway. So to answer your question, how do I do it? Tenacity and perseverance, because I have got the door slammed in my face, 100 times. But I'm willing to stick my nose in there and get it slammed one more time. And you know what? And I say this to anyone who's watching this that has a dream, whether it's in comics or in art or in entrepreneurial, like I'm doing, whatever your pursuit is. If you're not willing to believe in it more than anybody else, how can you ask someone else to believe in you? So you have to take that attitude, and believe it or not, at some point, whether you think it's crazy, the door doesn't slam in your face. It's like, you know what? I've slammed the door in this face 100 times and they keep sticking their nose in. I come through the door, tell me what you got. And all of a sudden, that's your moment, your 2 minutes to kind of shine, kind of the Eminem song. So, for me, I've grown up in that culture. We are an entrepreneurial country, even to this day. I mean, we talk about, Lee Iacocca, Henry Ford, made an assembly line. Debbie Fields made chocolate chip cookies. Ron Rice, he would literally make the suntan lotion and sell it on the beach out of the trunk of his car. And probably one of the more famous stories, which a lot of people don't really think about, Jay-Z was selling CDs that he made in the Bronx in a box on a corner first before he became this billionaire. So it's all about that. It's the lemonade stand, only instead of lemonade, I'm selling vitamin patches,
Well, I will have to tell you, I don't believe that you're from Brooklyn, because it took you that long to tell me you were from Brooklyn. Because most everybody I know from any of the boroughs has to mention in the first 30 seconds of a conversation they're from New York.
Yeah, well, listen, with me, it's very funny because as I meet people, they go, "You're from New York, right?" Because it's the accent. And I go, "Yeah, I wasn't trying to hide it." So normally I don't even have to say the words. It's just the very first words I speak, with the way I say them, they identify right away, Brooklyn, Bronx, or one of those boroughs,
So what was the attraction to vitamins? I mean, it's such an oversaturated market. GNC, the vitamin shop, every other vitamin type place. Fit Expo's coming up. There's 4 or 5 of those coming up. Legion Sports Festival, and all of them are going to have vitamin stands galore. So what was the attraction to an oversaturated market, and especially a patch, no less?
Well, it's a great question. So, the reality is, build a better mousetrap. I mean, I remember going to even supermarkets, not even shoe stores, and there were the sandals, the thongs, not the thongs that the women wear, but the thongs on your feet, right? And they were like, for $2, $3, and there was a million colors in a big bin. Somebody comes up with Crocs, and there's a million Crocs. I'm just, what I mean? Just you build a better mousetrap. So, do women really need a $5,000 Louis Vuitton purse? No, but you build a better purse, and you're Birkin, whatever it is. So for us, a lot of people actually struggle to take vitamins. Even swallowing a vitamin, something called aphasia, is the inability to swallow. Other than that, the science, which a lot of people don't study. I'm a big fan of The Big Bang Theory, and one of my favorite episodes was when Sheldon and Kaylee Cuoco, Penny, go shopping, and she's buying vitamins. She's an actress. She's buying vitamins, want to stay in shape. And, Sheldon says, all you're doing is buying expensive urine, because you realize that before you metabolize them. No, but this is true. Before you metabolize them, it hits the toilet bowl before you ever, even use it. So it's not that it's a saturated market. Everyone's doing the same thing. I'm doing patches, and I'm unique. Now, there have been patch companies like anything else, monkey see, monkey do. Everyone's coming out after the fact, but I'm the original. We're 10 years in business now, and that was even, we did 5 years of research. So 15 years of, doing this, where we are considered the #1 all-natural transdermal patch company in the United States. So the only companies that are making more transdermal patches than us are pharmaceutical giants like a Merck, a Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson. But as far as an all-natural process and an all-natural delivery, we are #1. And again, it took us 10 years to get here, but I'm very proud of it. So in that context, it's not saturated. And what we're doing is we're trying to show people that there is a better way, a more effective way to do it. I mean, even in the bar business, I remember them saying, you know, we have to make a better pressurized keg because the bottom of the keg gets lost. And if you think about how much beer that is and you add up all the kegs that get thrown out, you're talking about millions of barrels of beer goes to waste, which is money. When you buy a vitamin, if I tell you 67% of it, no matter what you do, is going to wind up outside of your body before you can ever use it, just think about that. You're only paying for a third of the use. You're getting 100% of our patch with no side effects, no artificial ingredients, no artificial colors, lasts all day long, and we could put your name or a cool logo on it as well. So when you factor all these things in, I say we're standalone. We're not saturated at all. But I understand your point, and it's well taken.
Like, were you inspired by like the nicotine patch or like the pain patches, or like, hey, you know, I'm trying to quit smoking and the nicotine patch helped me, so like let me flip it on its head and put it into a vitamin patch? Like, how did that all come about patch wise for you?
Yeah, so that's another great question. I mean, basically, for me, I played Division I athletics at Hofstra University. I mean, obviously, I've had a few too many pizza pies since then, but prior to that, I was actually quite chiseled. And to stay in shape, when I practiced at Hofstra, the New York Knicks also used that facility. Now they have their own, but at the time, the Jets and the Knicks actually used Hofstra. So obviously, I love my trainer, but he's a college trainer. Somebody else, you know, is wrapping Bernard King, Hall of Famer's ankles. I said, what would you suggest I can do to improve my situation? Because I was a guy at the end of the bench. And he said, just start loading up a vitamin B1, the technical name being thiamine. Now, at the time, there was no patch. I was actually getting the Joe Weider powders and putting, you know, scoops and scoops and mixing it with peanut butter and ice and water and having a little shake for myself. But again, same thing. It's a drink. The majority of it's out of my system. But I felt it did help. By my junior year, I cracked the starting lineup. And then fast forward, you know, a decade later, I'm with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I was there for a couple of years. And, you know, all these transdermal technology, you know, started to come out because the patent expired. So, you know, the nicotine patch, you know, now you could, you know, use it as a medical device. And rather than put a chemical or a drug in there, I felt we could make this delivery. And the other thing, too, is not every vitamin is permeable through the skin. So you actually have to have a specific type of water-soluble vitamin that could even be applicable in a patch. And the sad part about it is there are a lot of companies on Amazon that they know the public wants types of vitamins or types of nutrients. And they're like, hey, our patch has, you know, and they list 50 ingredients. #1, the patch can't hold all those ingredients. I know the technology. And #2, none of them are permeable through the skin. So even if their claims were true, that vitamin this, you know, zinc, all these things were in a patch, it's not even usable. So, you know, we really, really pride ourselves the fact that we were able to convert this essential, and that's the key, it's essential vitamin into a patch. And as far as how it came about, it was just kind of, you're reading up on medical journals or staying on top of stuff with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. More and more medicines, even outside of my patch, are moving towards transdermal. Obviously, you know, not only the nicotine patch, but women use the patch for birth control. There's pain patches now, Salonpas. Even Shaquille O'Neal, once upon a time, was doing the icy hot lotions and stuff, and then he had the icy hot patch. So it's just a part of our advancement technologically. But the beauty about our product is because thiamine goes in right away, we don't even add a chemical. It goes in on body heat only. So we're really, really proud to not only make a great product, it literally, without exaggeration, without hyper fanfare, is the safest, most effective way to take vitamin B1 on a daily basis.
Is there hopes to expand to, say, like the bodybuilding market and like a creatine patch, for example?
So there are other patches that are currently under development right now. I mean, we are expanding. I mean, the mosquito patch actually has eucalyptus extract and thiamine in it. There's a lot of athletes who wear our patch right now We're actually, because B12, you have to get through a shot. We're actually experimenting right now with a B12 added to our B1, and we're kind of close to finding a formulation. What's important for me is I am a father and I'm a coach, and there's always ways around things. And I'm not going to name the companies by name, but everybody knows who they are. There's a couple of quote unquote energy drinks and a couple of, sports performance drinks that if somebody will just Google lawsuits, there's been, deaths. There's been, even the gaming nation that uses these drinks that'll just load with caffeine and taurine. No 15-year-old needs that many milligrams of caffeine. No one needs it, quite frankly. So for us, it's not about just making something that works. It's about making something that a person who's 7 years old playing, little soccer or t-ball can use our patch, benefit from it with zero side effects and no, that person had a bad reaction to it. We're a $1 billion company, write them a check and it'll go away. Because quite frankly, that has happened with these other companies. They have had actual wrongful deaths. As a matter of fact, I remember not too long ago, there was a 30-year-old streaming his playing online, his gaming, and he was sucking down, again, I don't want to mention him by name, he was sucking down these energy drinks, and he actually had like a heart attack, like right on the stream. And that was completely induced by a drink. And again, some of these things are unregulated or not FDA approved, and yet they're on the market. And one of the reasons why we're not on Amazon, in case anybody wants to go to Amazon, don't go to Amazon. You won't find us because Amazon is unregulated. There's about a dozen or so fraudulent patches. Those people are not manufacturers. They resell it from either China or Pakistan or India, and nothing against those countries, but they don't have the regulations that the United States has. Our patches are made in a GMP certified 5-star facility here in the United States. We only have U.S. suppliers for materials. We only have U.S. labor. The name of our company is USA Natural Patches. That's our corporate name. The B1 patch is our brand. And it's very, very important to us to maintain a level of integrity. And with that said, when the formulations do come out, you can be rest assured that they were tested ad nauseum to make sure that they have zero side effects and 100% benefit to the user,
You mentioned energy drinks, and it reminds me of when I first started teaching when I was getting my credential. I had a student, he's probably in his 20s now, but he was in his early teens. And for breakfast, he'd have one of those fumigation can looking energy drinks. And I'm like, you're 13. What do you need that much sugar and caffeine as part of your breakfast every day?
Listen, I remember when I was in college, something came out called Jolt Cola. And Jolt Cola, at the end of the day, was really just a caffeine delivery system like some of these energy drinks are. But here's the thing that people may not remember, because I am a little bit maybe older than the audience. Jolt Cola got pulled off the shelves. Like, that's how many people were having negative reactions.
Your mic went out, Jerry.
At some point in time, I don't know if money wins out or different rulings. It's at the Congress level or whatever it is. But the FDA and the Better Business Bureau can only clean up so much stuff. I mean, one of the more famous things is when Jimmy Johnson was advertising that pill that would make a man, I guess, more of a man, if you want to call it that. And they finally investigated that and said, you know what, this is such nonsense and so bad that they actually fined him $10 million, pulled it off the shelves. But just to give you an example, before that happened, they made 50, 60, 70 million. And Jimmy Johnson, one of the most, celebrated football coaches and respected pitchmen of all time, he was their guy. So if you just get the right pitchman and no one's really looking at you, you could say almost anything to the public. And because the public sees it on TV, they're like, oh, well, it couldn't be on TV if it wasn't real. And they go for it. And that's some of the battle. Amazon has become such a beast that, and I use Amazon. I love Amazon. But in other words, if somebody sees it on Amazon, it's like, oh, well, it wouldn't be on Amazon if it wasn't, if it was bad for you. No. Amazon doesn't regulate anything. Amazon's just like, listen, what are you selling? And so it's important that people hear this, and I'm not trying to be a hater or anything like that at all, but I'm a parent, I'm a coach, and some of these things like are really harmful, not minorly harmful. So I'm saying it as a word of caution, not because I'm worried about someone's going to buy someone else's product and not mine. Believe me, we're doing fine, but I'm more concerned about wanting to clean up the bad actors out there, because there's just there's too many ways to do it right to take these shortcuts and do it wrong. Let me just say that, might cost a little more, might take a little longer to get there, but at the end of the day, what's the price of a clear conscience,
Right. And, it helps you sleep better at night.
Well, it does. And that's one of the things that I'm really proud of. We have so many kids. We just did an event a short while ago in Las Vegas, 15,000 soccer players for a tournament from 3 states, Colorado, California, and Las Vegas, ages 8 to 50. I think it went up to 17. And to see all that youth running around, and they were eschewing from the moms. The moms will say, Coach, please don't give my, and again, we know what the drinks are. Please don't give my son or daughter, because they had both boys and girls there. I have something for him. And to see all these kids running around with a patch, and probably one of the coolest things was that I was flying out after the event, and I happened to see somebody, and they had the patch after it was already done, was stuck to the back of their phone. So they were on the phone, and I saw my patch. I was like, did you play in the soccer tournament? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, why is the patch? When it's done, just throw it out. They go, no, I love this patch. I never played so good. And it was maybe a 13-year-old girl, and I actually had some free patches on me. I had some patches on me, so I gave you some for free. But it's that kind of really visceral, real-world experience that makes it all worth it. When our, young people are willing to take a moment, because they do have access now with their phones to Google it and say, wow, someone said this is bad for me. Is it bad for me? And you find out all these sugars and FD&C6 yellow, red, green, blue. Yeah, it looks cool on a shelf, but it's not doing you any good inside, and certainly not making you a better soccer player or baseball player. And yet you put this patch on with a cool logo or a cool color, matching, your favorite color, whatever it is. And it actually is doing something physiologically, and yet it's not harming you at all. And that's what I'm most proud of,
And let's look at placement. Do we put it on our shoulder? Can we put it on our thigh or our forearm? Because the nicotine patch goes on either the left or right arm, where's the specific positioning for it?
Right. So believe it or not, the dermis from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head is all the same. What we advocate is, a dry, hairless area of the body. Hairless for obvious reasons, so that when you pull it off, it's not the ouch factor. And dry because if you are going to run around and sweat, just like a Band-Aid, if you put the Band-Aid on before you start sweating, it'll stay on during your activity. But if you have just a little bit of sweat, or even like suntan lotion, if you're at the beach or whatever, it won't stay on. And then once it doesn't stay on, it's off. And no one wants to spend $2-3 for a patch and have it be on the floor. So really the best place is a flat area, so that is not a lot of flexion, and dry, hairless. But if you do that, we have swimmers who are training for a hopeful, Summer Olympics in 2024. They use our patches, and the patch stays on in the water. So as long as you apply it properly, it'll stay on. But you could apply it anywhere. Obviously, for our purposes, we love to see it on the shoulder and the forearm, because then the people see it, But a lot of our athletes, because they do sweat a lot, or maybe some of them actually have deals with other companies and can show our patch, and I know that they do it because I send out the Federal Expresses, so that nobody in my company sees some of the bigger athletes, who the famous people are wearing our patch. They'll wear it under their compression. So you see them with like an arm sleeve or an elbow sleeve or something like that. And underneath there is a patch that can't be shown to the public, because they have a $500,000 contract with a drink company, but that's just for money for them. But they wear our patch for performance, because that's when it counts,
Jerry, you're going to make me shave down to start using these patches, aren't you?
I'm going to tell you, once you use them, you'll never go back. And I got to say, you guys got a really cool logo. I'd love to send you some Fanboy Nation patches with that logo on them. And, when you're doing your interviews, or you're preparing, or you have a late night, or you're traveling, again, everyone knows that our patches work. If you're drinking, it'll stop a hangover. But the athletes are using them just for performance. I myself and not really a big drinker, but I'm on the road, 5-6 days a week. I'm on the road right now. I'm driving at night. I'm doing, interviews, and these patches are a godsend. And again, if you think I'm lying, I think I've been pretty energetic throughout this throughout this interview, and I'm on 2 hours of sleep right now because I've been traveling all night. I was at the Big 3 game in Dallas, Ice Cubes League. Everybody wore the patches. Dante Green was being interviewed by Brian Scalabrine, and Brian Scalabrine says, "Wow, great second half. You guys showed so much energy. Where does that come from?" And he was just being, organic. And without missing a beat, Dante Green had a patch on his arm. He goes, "The B1 patch. That's where I get my patch from." It was like, wow, I couldn't have wrote that script any better, and it was completely natural. So those are the moments that are really fun when you're trying to make it as a company, and then you see you kind of breaking out a little bit, and you're getting notoriety like this. This is why you put in all those hours. It's a lot of fun now,
Well, I would be honored to have a couple of patches, and I would definitely be rocking them at several of the conventions and concerts that we cover.
Yeah, and not just for the people to hear us say it, then after we hang up, we don't do it. But we have each other's email. Send it to me. I really would be pleased if you would do it. Show yourself wearing the patch, and we'll post it and continue to support, because I'm grateful for this time with you. And I would love to, again, continue to support you. And as you see these patches work, maybe you lean back to us a little bit as well,
that's all it takes, right? One sample to make sure that you get hooked.
Well, and that's the beauty of it, is that it is all natural. So when a person is hooked, they're hooked more because of they believe in it, rather than it having, again, those caffeine, taurine, and actual biological addiction. There is no addiction here. People just get hooked because, hey, it works. Just like someone who uses a batting glove, swinging a baseball bat, or as opposed to using their hands. They're like, "Oh, I grip the bat better. Let me use the batting glove because I'm hooked. I feel like I play better with it." And that's what it is. It's an asset. It's an amenity. But for 50 patches that are $90 or 25 for 48, it's $1.80 a day. It's $9 a week. So 50 weeks in a year. So for $450 for the entire year, you have a patch a day. You're feeling great. You're healthy. Your body's working well. And you eliminate all that caffeine and sugar. And again, if people are going to go to Starbucks anyway, they are. But sometimes that second and third cup of coffee you have at 3-4 o'clock for a pick-me-up, maybe that's not needed anymore because you got our patch on,
I love it, Jerry. Jerry, where can we find the website and the social media links that we can link back to you for everything?
Yeah, no, it's really simple. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna show it. So there it is right there. Buy B1. So buyb1.com, the word buy to purchase, the vitamin B1, self-explanatory. And on buyb1.com, all of our products are now available. That's been new that we've changed over the last couple of years. We used to have a separate website for all. If you are under 21, you can't get into the hangover section. You do have to be over 21 to enter our hangover section. Again, very corporate responsible. We believe in that. But with that said, you can buy the mosquito patch, the wellness patch, and the hangover patch all at buyb1.com, BUY, the letter B, the number 1.com.
I love it. Jerry Castello, thank you so much for your time. It's been a great pleasure. I will send you the logo later this afternoon, and enjoy that press conference, man. You're doing something right. 71 D1 teams.
Yeah, and the press conferences are on ESPN3. And for those of you who are basketball fans, we actually have a team entered in the ESPN $1 Million TBT. We play this Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central against the Texas Tech Raiders, the B1 Ballers, and yours truly will be the head coach. So tune into ESPN3. I'm doing it all, so I need my patches. They're running me ragged, but I'm patched up and ready to go.